Once upon a time, in a small town called Yate, there was a little girl named J.K Rowling. She loved to read books and make up stories in her head. Her favorite place was the library, where she would spend hours lost in the magical worlds of her imagination. Joanne, or Jo as her friends called her, had a best friend named Sean. Together, they would play in the garden and pretend to be characters from their favorite stories. Jo would often tell Sean her own tales, filled with wizards and witches, and he would listen with wide-eyed wonder. As Jo grew older, she discovered she had a special talent for writing. She began to write down her stories in a little notebook. Her family moved to a village called Winterbourne, where Jo met new friends and continued to create magical stories, always with a notebook in hand. In her teenage years, Jo faced some challenges. Her mother became very ill, and Jo had to help take care of her. Despite the difficulties, Jo found comfort in her writing and continued to dream of becoming a famous author one day. Jo's love for stories and writing never faded. She went on to study at the University of Exeter, where she read many books and learned even more about storytelling. After university, Jo had different jobs, but she always made time to write. One day, while on a train from Manchester to London, Jo had a wonderful idea. She imagined a young boy who didn't know he was a wizard, going to a magical school called Hogwarts. She quickly jotted down her thoughts on scraps of paper. Excited about the new story, Jo worked hard on her new story about the young wizard named Harry Potter. She wrote in cafes while her baby daughter, Jessica, slept beside her. Jo's life wasn't easy, but she was determined to finish her book. After many rejections, a small publisher called Bloomsbury decided to publish Jo's book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Jo was overjoyed. Little did she know, her book would soon become one of the most beloved children's stories in the world. As more Harry Potter books were published, Jo's stories about Harry, Hermione, Ron, and their adventures at Hogwarts captivated millions of readers. Jo, now known as J.K. Rowling, became a famous author, inspiring children everywhere to read and dream.